The latest on the trial of Hunter Biden on federal gun charges. The case is now in the hands of the jury after closing arguments. Our senior national correspondent Terry Moran is at the courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Michael. Jurors deliberated for just about an hour yesterday before going home. 6 men and 6 women from Delaware, the state Joe Biden represented for decades, who now must render judgment on his son. This morning, the jury in Hunter Biden's trial on 3 felony gun charges is set to deliberate. In their hands lies the fate of the president's only surviving son, after prosecutors laid bare some of the Biden family's darkest moments, painting a detailed portrait of Hunter as a crack addict. They relied not just on Hunter Biden's own words, including from his 2021 memoir.
I used my superpower, finding crack anytime, anywhere.
But also on the testimony of an ex-wife and ex-girlfriends, revealing personal text messages, even photos of Hunter Biden with drug paraphernalia. It was an emotional day in court Monday. Roughly 24 family members and friends showed up to support Hunter Biden, including First Lady Jill Biden, once again in the front row. But in closing arguments, the prosecution gestured towards those supporters and told the jury, all of this is not evidence. You may recognize some of them from the news or from the community. None of that matters, adding, no one is above the law. Instead, prosecutor Leo Wise said Hunter Biden knew he was using drugs when he claimed to be drug-free on this federal background check form when he bought a Colt 38 special revolver in October 2018. But Hunter's defense attorney, Abby Lowell, told jurors the prosecution failed to prove Hunter was actively using drugs at the time of the purchase. There was no actual witness to Hunter using drugs on the crucial days, he said. Lowell also appealed to the 6 men and 6 women of the jury on a personal level, telling them, we have had Hunter's life in our hands, but now I have to give it to you. Several of the jurors have family members who've suffered from addiction or owned firearms. One juror whose sister was addicted to drugs and committed credit card fraud. Also on the jury, a man whose father died by gun violence, another man who owns guns and said, I believe the Second Amendment is very important, and a woman whose best friend died from a drug overdose. These jurors touched, so many of them, by the issues this trial raised. George?
Okay, Terry, thanks. This has been our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Pretty straightforward case legally, but that emotion is the X factor.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a pretty straightforward case legally. I mean, the defense has provided a possible answer if you want to find not guilty, which is this idea that the prosecution has the burden to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. And the defense is essentially saying, are you sure it was knowingly? Did he know that he was a drug addict at that moment, on that day, when they say that he was actually, getting treatment, et cetera? It's unclear, the defense says, as to whether he was actually a drug user on the day of the incident.
How about the fact that these cases are almost never prosecuted? Is that relevant to the jury?
No, it shouldn't be. I mean, it's the sort of thing where, jurors may, in the jury room, bring something like that up, but it's not supposed to be part of the jury deliberations. It certainly won't be part of the jury instruction in this case.
How much of a difference does it make that Hunter Biden is the son of the president?
That's the real X factor. That's the one where are people going to start bringing it up, discussing whether he wouldn't have been prosecuted, would he have been prosecuted? Will they talk about the Trump trial back there? I mean, again, not something that they're supposed to do, but once jurors get back there into the deliberation room, they're kind of allowed to do what they want as long as it's, not completely improper in the context of the deliberation. Jury nullification is something we talked about in the possibility in the Trump trial. It's certainly a possibility here where the jurors say, 1 or 2 or more say, I just don't like this case. It didn't happen in the Trump case. We'll see if it happens here.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much.